This is the pile. Everyone has one. It's a collection of unfinished projects built up over the years. I always tell myself, I'm gonna finish this one eventually, but then I set it down on the pile, never to pick it back up again. This game idea got stuck in the pile, and you can tell just by looking at my channel. A video from years ago, numbered as if it were to be the first of many. How foolish it seems. You are all alone, child, and you always will be. Or will you? A recent lack of obligations coupled with a secret technique have led to me having above-average productivity in the hobby department. So now I'm picking this game back up out of the pile and putting in the work to save it. Can it even be saved? Let's examine it and see where we can make some changes. If you're wondering if the scope of your game is too big, it is. Make it smaller. People always say making a lot of small games is better than making one big game. Nobody ever listens though, including me. Fortunately, there's a quick and easy fix for this. There. I don't need hours of gameplay. I'll just make like 2 to 4 rhythm games and enough story to tie them together. No extra bells or whistles. If I finish that much and don't have it in me to continue just yet, I can slap it up on itch.io as a demo or prologue and decide if I want to finish it later. I still gave up before making even that amount of game last time though, so there's still more things I'll need to change if I want to be able to expect a different outcome. You can't really tell from my last devlog, but I had a decent amount of story written for this game. Well, it turns out that story was a bit too restrictive on the design process. I had a few ideas for the first rhythm game, but none of them ever seemed good enough to actually start making, and the structure of the story had me stuck with a specific framework I had to stay within. I've come up with a new story that should be more flexible. You play as a robot that suddenly gains sentience and has to find its place in the world. However, your newly formed consciousness can only control basic functions, so in order to do anything complicated, you have to be programmed to do it. This is what will become the rhythm games. I'll be able to make pretty much anything I want if I just give the robot a whole bunch of ambiguous abilities and transformations. Plus, I can probably tell a parable about finding yourself or something. I don't know, I'm trying not to plan too far ahead this time. So I made some new assets to replace the old ones. First, I designed the robot, and then I made this building to be the factory or whatever that it works in at the start of the game. I experimented with using photo scans for the environment textures, but I couldn't get them to fit with the style of the robot, so I ended up making this brick texture from scratch and using minimal texturing on everything else. I was gonna just drop these into the old project, but I didn't remember any of this code, so I made a new one and copied over chunks of code at a time. Since the character model is entirely different, I redid the movement animation code. I even added this little particle effect because I was bored. I also rewrote the structure for the rhythm games to try to make it a bit more flexible. That includes a separate scene for the practice portion where it teaches you the mechanics, so I set up this little cyberspace scene for that to take place in. And with all of that done, we're now back to where we left off last time, but in a way where it'll hopefully be easier to make more. The game isn't the only way we can increase efficiency though, so there's still a bit more left to do. Take a look at this timeline. At these 2 points, I am roughly 90% done with a new video. In both cases, I said this sucks and abandoned them, planning on starting a different video later, but never doing so. If I can increase the speed at which I make videos, I'll be able to finish and upload them before realizing they suck. Editing is the part that takes the longest, so I need to cut down on the amount of things I need to edit. Part of that is the green screen. I don't need to constantly fill time with complicated graphics when I have footage of myself talking that I can just slap on top of a static image. Another factor is reusable parts. I made this little screen here and these title cards in a way where I can change a few small things instead of making something new every time. Now, I haven't really done all this yet since I'm part of what needs to be edited, so let's check in with future Nora to see if these changes helped. Okay, so first of all, sorry for the audio quality. I only realized that the mic was clipping a bunch after recording everything, but I think I did okay fixing it. Also, I didn't make the screen that I just mentioned in the video, but I think I cut down on time pretty well without it. I'm basically finished editing the video now, and it's 48 hours after I finished recording, which is basically a weekend of editing, which I think is pretty good. I don't remember how long the last video took, but it was a lot longer than this. Thanks, future Nora! So with a decreased scope, more flexible story, and faster video editing, have I finally taken a project back off the pile, Or did I just make an entirely new one that looks suspiciously like the old one, but was still propelled entirely by the excitement of newness? Actually, yeah, it's the second one. This is probably going to end up back on the pile. You know what? I live here now, on the pile. Productivity? Deadlines? I'm not a corporation. I don't need to make money. I don't need to do anything. Why would I finish things when I can just keep starting new ones over and over? I don't have shareholders.